Group B, the losers match. Let's go! Battlefield of Eternity, map number 1 between the KD Seagents and Red Cats. Again, that's not the KD Agents, that's the team that was in Group A. This is the KD Seagents, obviously a little bit pun on it, or maybe they're like a sister team or something. But this is now the losers match of Group B here at the Underdog Cup, and we have Battlefield of Eternity as our first map. The loser of the series drops out of the tournament. The winner has a chance, though, to make it to the next round, to the final round, the bracket stage. We have 8 teams in total participating in the tournament. That's where we limited it. And we have 2 groups with 4 teams each, where only the top 2 teams advance. So there's still a chance for the winner to make it out. But who's going to take it? That's the big question, of course. Now, once again, a quick reminder, heroes can only be picked once within the series, so every single hero that you see played cannot be played again in the same match. And this is a tournament that was specifically designed to have teams from HeroesLounge Division 2 and Division 3 in it, to address the grassroots a little bit. Like, the whole idea here is really just promote the grassroots teams a bit, and also incentivize the teams here to participate in a couple of the tournaments. I cooperate with that with HeroesLounge. Big shout out to them for helping to organize this specifically to Transparent. And again, if you guys don't know HeroesLounge, you should check them out. HeroesLounge.gg. They are the biggest amateur scene in just the entire game, and have been for ages. They're located on the European side, but you can also play when you are on the North American server, for example, and can play cross-server. Check them out, have a look. Links are there, but I talked about them in the past. They are fantastic, and this is really how the game is essentially supposed to be played, and not this, well, this, whatever we are getting, the slugfest when you're queuing for a quick match or for Hero League oh so often. That might have its place as well, but believe me, you will enjoy that too. Now, we're getting the first couple of bans, of course, and that means that on the side of the Red Cats, I mean, a very misogynistic play that we're seeing here. They're just going for, they're banning all of the women out. This is going to be a male-dominated team composition that we're going to get from them. This is not really in the spirit of 2025, and when we're talking about... Okay, I'm going to make myself puke in a second. But yeah, they're banning Sylvanas and they're banning Vala. Maybe they just hate hoodies. Whatever it is. So, both of the hoodie girls get banned out. Could you make a team hoodie? You have Tyrael, you have Vala, you have Sylvanas. Does Thrall have a hoodie? Or Gul'dan? You could make team hoodie, I think. I think there's a chance. If the team makes sense or not, that's... Oh, there we go, another hoodie. Auriel. Auriel is really popular in this particular division. We've seen her multiple times right now, with big impact too. So, Jojo plus Auriel for Battlefield of Eternity. Picks for Immortal damage. I mean, Hanzo, Greymane, both still out there. Wouldn't put it past the teams to also... Oh, are we getting his out? Nah. Honor. We get Hanzo. Garrosh, Hanzo. I want to see one of the teams to embrace Zarya Garrosh. That would be nice. That would just be good. Zarya Garrosh would be something that I would love to see again. It's been a while. Surprisingly as that might be. But yeah, Auriel and Johanna on the other side. Every single time I see Auriel, I want to see Cho'Gall. It's just so ingrained in my head that when you go for Auriel, you are also thinking Cho'Gall. Can't think one without the other. Jaina gets actually banned for the first time, I believe, in this entire tournament. I don't think she's been played yet either, so she's not getting any love. But this is actually right in line with what I said earlier. They hate hoodies. So 3 hoodie girls have now been banned out. They took Auriel. She has one too, so something must be different here. But this also answers my question if we could technically go for a hoodie team. We definitely could. There's actually a lot more heroes that are either hooded in their natural skin or in a different skin that they have than I initially thought. But the more that I think about it, I mean, you have Medivh, there's Thrall with a skin, you have the 3 banned out here, Auriel. So the list is getting longer and longer with every single moment that I spend thinking about it. And that could be interesting. Team hoodie.
The wait is over.
Do we have Team Skinhead as well? Karazim, Garrosh, a lot of the orcs, I guess. usually you sort the teams by IPs. You have Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch. Sometimes you're seeing people go, hey, we need to make an orc team. I've never really sorted them according to clothing or hairstyle choice, but I suppose that would be possible too. Anyways, this is a bit of a tangent here, sorry. Cassia and Maiev for the Red Cats on Battlefield. Still would expect someone to at least think Greymane a bit. Rhaegar and Chromie, so they're poking from afar with this. And insta-pick on Kharazim. Double support on this. Auriel and Kharazim. Guys, let's go. Game number 1, the losers match in Group B of the Underdog Cup. On the left side of the map, we have in blue the KD Seagents with Neptibus on Hanzo. No Scope Ninja is playing Garrosh. We got Joey on Rhaegar, Carol Barrel on Chromie, and Time Bullet is playing Dehaka, rocking that side lane. Whereas over on the right side of the map, the opponents in red with Philosmart on Joanna, Shizen on Kharazim, Tristesse on Cassia, we got Chachu on Maiev, and Ensiferum is playing Auriel. Not quite what I expected from the red team, honestly. That last pick, Kharazim, was a bit of a surprise. Did not think that we would get a second support with what they are running here. But, well, second support it is. And then just simply the question, how successful can they be with this lineup that they're currently trying to get through here? So, who takes game number 1, who's able to win the series and advance to the next round, and who will drop out of the tournament at this point? Time to figure that out slowly but steadily over the course of the next few maps. Dehaka is all alone at the top side now. Is he? Kharazim is side laning? Okay. That's gonna be interesting. Dehaka is gonna win that easily. Like, that lane is gonna be completely lost. Kharazim solo on the side lane, and now he's moving back down to the bottom of the map. I don't quite know what the strategy here is, but currently I'm here for it. Gimme. What do you have? What you got? Already a kill against Hanzo at the bottom of the map. They're very aggressive around this at least, but they're also losing out at the top a little bit. Shizen is hearthing back. I'm not sure why. Could have moved too. Dehaka is moving in as soon as Kharazim is gone, and now Kharazim is moving towards the top as Dehaka is looking for the Tong connect, I assume. They're still trying to play around this. There's the Tong, but then immediately the whip, and Dehaka is pushed into a wall. So Kharazim is sitting at the top all of a sudden. Honestly, if I was the blue team, I would have just kept Dehaka at the top lane and would have just pushed for the structures. They could have gotten the entire wall there. Kharazim has absolutely no chance on that top lane. If that is a battle that actually happens and continues to happen, then he is going to destroy everything. So the longer you can keep that in a 1v1 top side, the longer you should actually go for it. They are rotating other heroes now to that area, and they really have to, because if not, that would just not work out. But it's still a kill for 0 for the Red Cats, so the blue team hasn't really taken advantage of that situation. But it's an interesting approach from the Cats. Not really what I thought I would see here. But for now, it hasn't really been a problem. So we'll see if that turns at some point, or what's going on here. For now, what we're getting though is, of course, the first objective. A little bit of poke at the bot lane still. Trying to get some work done here. Open that wall up, maybe open the gate up, get a little bit of vision of what's behind it. Teams are timing their camps, both of them, just so that they can use them during the objective phase and apply a little bit of additional pressure through that. Yeah. And for now, are we going to get commitment at the bottom of the map maybe for the defense, or are they going for the objective first? Hanzo should be the one that reigns supreme talking objective. And, well, he is already making some plays here. So they're starting to take the Immortal down, whereas the red team was a bit late to the party, but is now basically doing the same thing here, and has started to even take the lead. They win the halftime show, so they have a slight advantage of roughly 1,000 hit points on the Immortal Shield. Blue team seems like they're now going to fully commit here, but the defense has started, and the red team has split their forces a little bit and is doing pretty okay. So I'm not quite sure who's going to win this. Now that Dehaka is pushing Cassia back, who's obviously the biggest threat on this, they might just be able to win it after all. And they do! Blue team with the victory on Immortal number 1. Tiny shield though. 900 hit points is essentially nothing. There's really, really nothing to write home about. So, can they destroy something with it? They might. Not sure what exactly they can do here. But they should be able to at least get some damage on... the wall should fall. The wall should fall. Some damage on the fort would be nice. The wall is going to go down. Still the Haka against Karazim at the top. And he at least should just push for that. Like, seriously. So, with this, they don't even get the wall. It's actually a little bit sad. I was like, at least the wall is going to get destroyed. And then just, nah. Not happening. Nope. So, bit unfortunate. But yeah, anyways, up at the top, the Haka against Karazim, who is actually pushing him back here. Okay, he's going full on damage, Karazim, probably. It's gonna be fun. The Karazim is just basically saying, like, I'm an assassin. So Karazim is going for full on assassin style, doing what he can to dominate this. It's just glorious. I love every single second of it. If that works out for them, then hey, kudos. Even better. But for now, what's a bit more important is really that 4-man at the bottom of the map. Heresy might be quite entertaining here, but who is winning that 4-man matchup at the bot lane? Right now, it's more like a stalemate than anything else. But yeah, time will tell if they are going to be able to maybe break through here and finally take that wall out and apply some pressure on the fort. Chromie has the early level 10, so that helps at least a little bit. Maybe that's something that they can use right now. And while that is going on at the top, there's obviously still that wall that needs to be maintained a bit. And they gotta be quite careful here, because the problem is still that if the Haka is also taking some camps and they're pushing in, Karazim is the only one that is sitting there. He has no wave here. And this could exactly be the problem now. Maiev just makes it out, but right there they should try and do a bit of structural damage. If you have the rotation already going on, yes, the Immortal spawns in 3, but still, you're in such a great spot to take that wall down. At least a gate or a tower, you should probably take it. There's nobody that can do anything against you in that situation. Right now we have level 10 abilities coming up next, just one level. This might even play a role for this particular Immortal. Not 100% certain, but definitely could. Karazim is still just going for it. And this time he pushed Maiev back. Karazim, honestly, at this point, it's just funny. It reminds me of LoL back in the Fnatic days when Karazim came out, who actually didn't play him as a support, but really tried to play him as an actual assassin. And that's a little bit what we are seeing right now. I mean, this is like mega old school, of course. It was like way back when. But this is very reminiscent of that. Halftime show victory again for the red team. Karazim is now using his massive wave clear at the bottom of the map to take the wave down. Or at least get himself a globe. That's a bit more like it. It's much better than just going for the wave, I gotta say. Oh boy. But level 10 is kicking in for the blue team at any moment, and then they really have to push it. With that advantage, now is your time to make a play. We get, by the way, the Dragon Strike. Honestly, the dragon there, if you look at this when it gets unleashed, it looks kind of like two snakes fucking. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you can interpret a dragon into that, but just like look when it comes out. If that is not just two snakes that are having a good time, then I don't know what is. Chromie goes down. I mean, fully just on-point target damage, and she gets murdered. The objective at least was taken by the KD Seagents. Can they push with that now? Without Chromie, they should still be able to do that. But, yeah. Right now, bot lane, that's going to be the interesting part with Karazim again going to the top lane. The hero without the wave clear is like, yeah, I don't care. Oh, nice. They go for, yeah, Oriel, and she's scared. They can delay it. You're not going to be able to turn that around, so it's a very nice kill. Rhaegar's a bit low, so he needs to be careful too, but they get the tongue on Maiev. And while all of this happens, the Immortal just walked straight through the wall, straight for the fort, and is taking that apart as well. They take Johanna down too. In comes Karazim. Oh, and he nearly gets a Rhaegar kill. Nearly gets a kill there, but this time, no, he didn't. He gets out. You gotta be joking. He goes in, nearly gets a kill, and then just before he himself becomes the target and dies, he's able to walk away from it. It's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. I cannot believe that this is actually happening. The guy is all over the place here. So now what we're getting is the fort destroyed, the wall opened up a bit at the keep. So they're slowly getting there. Damage output, Karazim is sitting at 7,500. It honestly feels like it's more. He has more on-point damage against a single target and has resulted in him killing a few targets, that it just feels like he's way more impactful on the damage numbers than he actually is. The top damage dealer for the team is Cassia, and more than her even, IF. Chromie though, with the top damage. Chromie, she's rocking the numbers. She's sitting at 22,000 for them right now. Big push at the bot lane too. If they don't send anyone down there immediately, that wall is gonna eat some damage. Yeah, Karazim taking at least a catapult out. But now this is the top lane, where it's a 5 versus 4. Yeah, and they're pushing for it, as they should. So they're pushing at the top lane, trying to take down not only that fort, but maybe also another hero. And they're dangerously close to eliminating Johanna. Can't get her, but what they might be able to get is, of course, Vayev. And yes, she's down. The saving Ancestral on Hanzo. Garrosh a bit low, but still neat play from them. They get a kill. It's a close match, though. It's really a close match at this point. It's game number 1, 3 kills to 2, and everybody is just fighting tooth and nail there and doing their thing as best as they can to try and get themselves a small lead that they can snowball and then finally win game number 1 and get the entry into the series. But, well, at this point, what we're getting first is, of course, another objective, another Immortal, another chance to pull ahead here and take more structures out. The only fort that has been destroyed was taken down on the red team side. So they lost 1. I don't think I've ever seen a Hanzo ult in this entire game so far, by the way. I've been talking about the snakes earlier, but we haven't really seen them yet. Maybe now an opportunity to, at some point, YOLO them out. The teams are both on level 13. And... oh, careful. Yep, Garrosh is gone. Killed by Karazim. Look at this. That's 2 snakes having a great time. That has nothing to do with dragons. Don't come at me with this, like, Chinese dragon stuff. It's like, that's snakes right there. It's not my fault. I didn't draw them. But yeah, with that, likely that we're gonna get an Immortal now for the team in red. They take the halftime show, of course, and they should be able to then... well, actually, Garrosh is back. It's a 5 versus 5. Nah, they should still win this. They should still win this. The timing is just not on the side of the KDE Seagents. They reduce the shield a little bit. They're able to limit the pain, but it's not enough to do more than that. So, with this, we have once again the team fight already breaking out because the blue team is trying to force them into submission before the real push even begins. If they gets kills now, then they can force them back and deal with the Immortal so much easier. Everybody is splitting away though. Nobody's really dying. Hanzo trying to get Jojo, couldn't, but at least they forced them back and forced them to tap the fountain. So that allows them to have an easier time defending against the Immortal itself. Okay. So they're taking that one pretty low. The Haka is already at the top lane. Still at 1 level lead for the KD Seagents. Oh, Garrosh. Ancestral. Oh, the clutch play from Rega. And that was a nice move from Garrosh. That's the end of Cassia. And let's see if with the help of the Haka who just tunneled in, they can get more. Seems like they can. They're taking down Oriel and they eliminate Maiev too. So that is now 3 heroes taken down, and all of a sudden there is momentum for the blue team. And they're using it to try and break through the wall at the bottom keep. Really nice triple kill. That was a great one. That was a really good move. They were able to save Garrosh, who became the initial target of the Red Cats. And then, thanks to him surviving and getting a grip of Cassia and throwing her into the range of the fort, he started that chain that allowed them to get all of that. So, yeah, nicely done. With that, we now have Jojo also killed, so there is a bit of added momentum here as Karazim is going for a camp at the top lane. Yeah, Haka is also not here and has resorted to some top lane pressure. Doesn't really change the fact that the bottom keep is now at 50% of its HP. Level 16 talents are not only ready, but the team is also about to reach level 17, so pulling ahead by nearly 2 levels. Damage output on Hanzo is at 43,000. Chromie is at 39,000. And we have, well, Cassia with the top damage sitting only at 29. If you want to go for a comparison here. So, well, with that, it is up to the Red Cats to try and get back into the game. They are now the ones that have taken a bit of a backseat here. The good news is they should have their level 16 talents for the actual fight. That's the good news in all of this. But if now the blue team wins an Immortal, then it gets dicey, because then we're talking keep. So yeah, the attacks are slowly starting to happen around all of this. 16 talents are in, and as expected, wave 100 fists for Karazim, with the martial law coming together for Cassia as the next one that she grabs. The Haka still pushing the top lane out and also protecting obviously their own fort from the camp that is going through the lane. But over here, this is a bit of a stalemate right now. It will be interesting on level 20 as well, because if Hanzo, as he should, goes for the cooldown reduction, this is going to become a serious threat. Every time that you have Hanzo with cooldown reduction going for the Dragon Strike, you can YOLO that thing out like it's a normal ability. It's actually crazy how heavy of an impact that makes. So down here, fight is finally starting to break out now that the Haka also joins the fun. Yeah, Karazim jumped in, but the Ancestral has already been ready. The Haka down, Karazim down. Everybody gets one kill, but that's Garrosh most likely gone too. He doesn't get a heal anymore. So that's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Red Cats as they're trying to get back into the game with everything they have, just throwing it at the opponent's team. And and Hanzo, just Hanzo's Johanna, takes her out. It looked good for the red team for a bit, but now they are low in HP and have to slowly retier here. So Cassia is dead too, and holy hell, blue team is crushing it all of a sudden. Nearly a kill for Hanzo again, and he comes in and locks it as he hits that arrow right between my F's eyes. Absolute slaughter now as Hanzo crushes the Red Cats. He's going full Alpha Dog on us, and that might be the Immortal that they need to, if not end the game, then at least get themselves a keep. So here come the KD Seagens. That's the biggest Immortal in the entire game that we've seen so far. Up to now, we haven't seen an Immortal with that big of a shield yet. This is the first one. And we are now 17 minutes in. Actually felt like we were a bit farther in, but no. 13,000 damage. I can't really decide whether I like that Karazim play or not. On the one hand, it's insanely funny and it was really impactful earlier. But if you look at the raw damage numbers, it's not a lot. Granted, you're doing single target damage, you're trying to be a finisher, you're trying to pressure some of the squishies, but still. He died only once, so he's really good at that. We have the upgrade, by the way, on level 20 now, so Dragon Awakens is there. Cooldown reduction is in, and all of a sudden they're willing to use that a lot more frequently. Just trying to use it as a zoning tool itself already makes sense. Karazim again in the back, gets already pushed out by Hanzo. They know that he's going to try and come back in. He gets a couple of hits together, but here's the chance. Some damage, and Karazim with his mobility is diving out right away. But the keep is gone. Keep is gone, and keep in mind, the Red Cats don't have level 20 talents. They don't have a level 20 here. So the core is about to get attacked too, and Garrosh falls, Cassia falls. Can they trade a few more kills? They might be able to go for the core here. It's definitely going to take damage. Now that my F is gone, there's a chance, there's an opportunity. Karazim moved in. There's another quick jump from Rhaegar as they're trying to force Karazim back away from the damage dealers, but it seems like they could end the game right here. 46% on the core, the Ancestral is out. Once more the ult from Hanzo, and it's the end of Johanna. The end of Jana and maybe the end in game number 1 for the Red Cats. They're losing too much. 15 kills to 6. 15, 60 kills to 6. And that's the end. That's game. That's the KD Seagens with a 1-0 lead.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Second map in the series is Infernal Shrines. The KD Seagens with the lead. Pretty awesome first game, honestly. I mean, it flipped at some point, but still, it was very nicely done and a close one too. So now that we have Infernal Shrines as our map, let's see if the Cats can win one. Karazim as an early pick has not really worked out. Apparently, the player is a bit of a... I don't want to say one trick, but like he's a Karazim main. And it was kind of fun, I gotta say. I'm not sure how much of an impact he really had. Numbers are always a bit difficult to judge with this. He definitely annoyed them a hell of a lot in the early game. And they specifically needed to watch out for him later on too. But obviously, once that the Immortal is moving in and you're not doing those rotational games anymore where you can gank somebody on the lane but have to play the actual 5 versus 5, it starts to become a bit more difficult. They ban out Medivh. Not up for any shenanigans here, as it seems. The 10 heroes that have been played on the previous map cannot be played again. They're now eliminated for the rest of the series. Which, in return, of course, means that we're also not going to see any of these Karazim shenanigans anymore. Who knows? Maybe we're going to get a different melee assassin for him. If you're good at Karazim, you should be good at Illidan. Give me Illidan or Chen. That's something that probably is right down his alley. ETC also banned out. Obviously already working around the front line a bit here. With Infernal Shrines, you generally want to have someone that has added wave clear, though, if you can. I mean, oftentimes Diablo is really powerful here, also for the stuns into the walls. You have Jojo, which is can be really good. Side laners are going to be important. I'm not talking only about someone like Blaze, Leo, Dehaka, all those typical picks that you get. Malthael even. Hogger. I've been talking about this once, but Hogger is a hero that I always forget. It's honestly ridiculous. I just forget about him. Like, I think about side laners, and I'm listing all the side laners, and then I see Hogger, and I was like, ah, yeah, Hogger. It's fine, I guess. I mean, I think it's understandable, because he was just recently added to the hero pool, so it's just the newest hero in the lineup, and that's one of the reasons why my brain doesn't connect with him just yet. Once that we have a few more releases, then I think I'm gonna have that down. But yeah, it's still the latest edition, so there's that. Jungler is the first pick. So Blaze has been banned too. Makes total sense. Infernal Shrines is just way too powerful here. Unless of course you take Combustion, which we saw in the Spin to Win Cup. Boy, I never want to see that talent again. Spin to Win Cup was funny though. Spin to Win Cup was very, very funny. There were a few talents that I didn't even know existed that were picked. I was just like, what is that? And then I actually had to read the talent. I was like, ah yeah, I think I remember that from beta. I took that once by accident. An Uberag and White main to open things up for the Cats. So no spicy Karazim alternatives are taken yet. We'll see. Maybe a bit more in a moment. I'm having my eye on him here. But over on the left side, in blue, Diablo. The stuns into the wall on the shrines. Again, I like it. Diablo here is having a huge impact usually. Then you have Anduin, so you already have the light bomb engaged that you can execute with Diablo as well if you want. Unless they are trying to play the bubble. Which we have, to be fair, seen in Group A once. Yeah, they could still ban out the side lane though. Hogger is banned, Blaze is banned, ban another side laner, take one for yourself. And you're gonna be in a spot where you can dictate pretty much what your opponent has to pick. Or limit their options significantly. But they're getting rid of Genji. Probably gonna pick a mage too, so they wanna protect that. And for the blue team, what's the final ban for map number 2? This could be the final map in this match. There is a chance that the KD Seagens just move on now to the next and final match of this group. And that the Red Cats are the first team to get eliminated. Unless they can claw their way back into it. Ah, Vala banned. Actually kind of sad when Vala gets banned here. Vala is kind of fun, and this is one of the few maps where you occasionally see a multi-shot build. And since we see a lot of arrow builds on Infernal Shrines, and then obviously you have a lot of auto attacks, The occasional multi-shot build style is actually kind of interesting, funny. So, would not have minded to see that. But, well, the double pick for the red team. They still need the damage dealers. They don't have a side laner. Tychus Kerrigan. Alright. So, Nubarak and Kerrigan right now. It's kind of likely that they're adding another melee. So, they are going full on stun combos here. They want to lock the CC in and just crush things. And how is the blue team going to react to that now? They already have Diablo. Another beefy boy over to the side. But I'm more interested in where more damage comes from. What's the second damage dealer for them? Sylvanas. That's our answer. And we get Leoric. So the janitor is in the house to take out the trash. Oh, Schall Swiffer. And we get Sylvanas, which would allow them with a Punisher to get even more lane push through. So, yeah. And then our final pick for game number 2, the first match point in this series here at Group B of the Underdog Cup. And we need a little bit more melee. Kerrigan is not going to be enough next to Nubarak to stop all of this. But they go for Probius. They think they got enough here. Okay, time will tell. Probius as the final pick on Infernal Shrines. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Map number 2. KDC Gens in blue. Now they're going up against the mighty power of Protoss. But, well, first the team in blue themselves. With Time Bullet on Leoric, we're getting Neptopus on Sylvanas, Carol Barrel on Junkrat. Joey's playing Anduin. And we got the no-scope Ninja on Diablo. But obviously, the real party trick is playing out over on the right side, where we got Philosmart on Nubarak. We have Shizen on Whitemane, and Ansiferum is playing Probius. That's going to be the wild card here. Tristesse on Tychus, and then Chachu on Kerrigan. So, can this work? I mean, you look at the combo, right? You look at Kerrigan and Nubarak, and the first thing that really comes to mind, what does my opponent want to do with this? And normally you think, okay, they're going to try and hunt heroes down, they have an engage comp, and they're trying to kill stuff. And then you see Probius coming in, who doesn't really fit that bill, and is more of a push hero there. I expected a melee hero that could contribute some additional CC, add some damage, and then tee things up for Tychus and the rest of the team. But that's not what's happening here. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what exactly is happening, what they can do with this, because I'm a little bit skeptical, honestly. There are, of course, a couple of aspects where they could definitely run the show here, but we'll have to figure out if they are able to win this one and force game number 3 or not. And the blue team, they have a much more normal composition. They are saving Sylvanas barely at the top. That was nearly the first blood. And of course the rotational plays are still continuing, while at the same time we're also still getting the May plays for some of the thingies, some of the what am I trying to say? The mercenary camps. There we go. Words are hard sometimes. So yeah. But alright. So, currently, they're just trying to take a few more of the camps out. We're also having the camps on the right side taken in time. No kills yet. Probius is, by the way, gone into the Warp Resonance over here. And then, at the same time, moves between the lanes and starts to make the siege work out. Push the lanes a little bit, but it's more about the camps at this point, because that's where usually the team fights are being centered around, and that's exactly what we're now getting down at the bottom of the map. And the attacks are already coming here. So, yeah, they are starting to do their thing at this point. Slowly getting one hit in after another to try and take out some heroes, get the momentum going, claim some extra camps. But generally speaking, Kerrigan and Nubarak are the aggressive ones. It just doesn't feel like they have the actual damage to follow up on that immediately. Might be a little bit wrong, of course, but Nubarak is diving in. Kerrigan is usually trying to immediately follow up with some extra damage of herself. But, yeah. Time will tell how much they can actually do on all of this. I mean, for now, honestly, not really all that much happening. A couple of little skirmishes on the map. Nobody's really fully committed to any kind of gank squad that roams around, damage included, so that they could get some kills. The stuns are annoying, and when Anuburak and Karrigan have you in a stun lock, then of course, depending on how many hit points you have, you could still go down. But nobody has really gone for anything too crazy yet. This is game number 2. People are playing it a little bit safer. You look for your occasional target, but that's about it. Now that the objective is up, that's where things really start. You have 11 stacks already for the KD Seagents. And Karrigan still down at the bottom of the map. Might not even join and just go for a push here. Normally you would expect Probius in that position, but the dirty little Protoss player is sitting up at the top, gets stunned into a wall, and goes down. Alright, for a second looked like he was going home. But there's the kills. Double kill against the red team, and only Leoric falling on the side of Team Blue. And they might even be able to get another one. They're trying, but Junkrat didn't have enough damage there to take out Tychus as well. Sylvanas is now meeting Karrigan. Still a bit surprising to me that Karrigan was the one that was on the side lane here. I really expected that if anybody would be in that position, it would be Probius instead. Just more wave clear on the hero. More that you can play around with. But Probius goes down at the top. Apparently we're trying to push in for that again. And right now it doesn't really look all that great for the Red Cats. At least not on the first objective. Objective number 1 is very likely going to fall. That's the first part. And then of course the question that follows is, yeah, how much more can they do, as the structures will likely be targeted next, because this is the blue team moving in for port number 1, which they might be able to get here. So, yeah, Probe is trying to push back. To be fair, they're getting the Punisher low very quickly, but if Sylvanas was here, this would be a different story. Like some of the rotationals, I would love for Sylvanas to be here. They are still getting the fort, I guess. Yep. With Sylvanas, they might have been able to get a bit more done, but she's now rotating with Karrigan. It's not usually a pairing that you see trying to control the side lanes here. But yeah, they could have split this a little bit differently, but they still get the fort. It's still a huge success for them. They're half a level ahead, 3 kills to 1. They took the first fort out. And they're just generally doing a good job in this early stage of the game, which they should easily be able to also just push forward a little bit further. I mean, there's still camps up on the map that you can take from here on out, so that's going to be the next play. And it seems like the red team just decided that they have to be more aggressive if they want to have a chance here. So they are currently just desperately looking for kills, trying to go in. There's the barbecue, they're up against level 10. Nice! Full on death corridor. Beautiful entomb. Tychus is down. Would love to get a little bit more, I guess. Karrigan gets the kill on Anduin. Good for her. But then she dies a moment later. So not as... Ooh, and Leoric dies as well. So it's a 2-for-2 trade. So not as successful for the blue team as you might have thought. Especially since the Red Cats also got the level 10 abilities shortly after. But still fairly successful. I mean, that was a good fight for them. Could have been way worse for the Red Cats on the other hand, because let's not forget, there were a couple of moments in all of this where we just had, with some insane pressure, Leo shut the door on them and everybody else just chipping in the damage, particularly of course when we're talking about Diablo, who just unloaded the lightning breath there and had them on the ropes. So that was pretty massive. But again, it is fairly even. The structural difference is the biggest one. This is really the biggest difference between the two teams right now. But with that said and done, the red team is still continuing with the aggression that they showcased just a couple of seconds ago. They're just saying, alright guys, we gotta do something here. We gotta be aggressive around this. We gotta make a couple of moves. We gotta make a couple of plays. What can we actually do here? And right now, they're looking for kills, they're looking to destroy a couple of structures, they're roaming the map as best as they can. Probius is holding on to the top lane. There's not that much catapult pressure on the top lane just yet, but of course at least some that you have to deal with, which is exactly what they're right now doing. But yeah, the next objective is popping up. Damage-wise, now that we're nearly on level 13 talents, closing in on them slowly. That's where we have 14,000, 15,000 for Tychus, 18,000 for Junkrat. Sylvanas and Tychus are roughly on the same numbers, and they're even attempting now to steal the opponent's camp away. Now, if that's a success, then kudos, but that's also them taking a bit of a risk, if you ask me. And yep, they lose both of their damage dealers as a result because of it. That's not good. That is definitely not good. So the Ultralisk gets bullied around, but the blue team has lost all control over the Shrine because of it. And there's even an advantage in experience, even though it's a tiny one, for the Red Cats now. So they are on level 13, just a little bit faster. Kerrigan is going for Leoric at the bottom of the map, trying to take him out here. And yeah, Nubarak is already pushing the middle a bit and is hoping that he can destroy the wall to soften things up for the rest of the team. And when they're making their play here. I would be a little bit afraid now if I am in the KDC Gens. That momentum spurt is something I did not necessarily expect in that fashion. So, this Punisher is locked in. Cats have it. And now, we'll see how good the defense is of the blue team. KDC Gens need to try and not lose too much here, but I suppose since it is a frozen Punisher, the chances of them keeping the fort are fairly low. I think that's not going to be a thing. So, yeah, attack is in. With Odin already used, that is just, yeah, a foregone conclusion. No, that fort is gone. That fort is gone. Won't be able to save that anymore. But maybe they can save something else. The wall of the keep, for example. Leo is trying to get out. Oh, big stun chain against Diablo. And he makes it. And is still alive, even after Nubarak dived in. And then the hit, of course, from Tychus. And Nubarak at least fell for it as well. So it's two heroes that died, but still. That Diablo, after he survived all of this, then just dies to Tychus and throws a quick grenade over. It's a bit sad. It really felt like he needed to be the hero, you know, of his own story here. And then Tychus is just like, yeah, wait a second, I got something for you here. You can cosplay Bruno Mars a little bit and catch the grenade yourself. So, 6 kills to 6. It is dead even. Dead even. Each team has now eliminated a fort. Structurally even, even on levels, even on talents, even in kills. Yep. Question is simply, when is this going to break? I hate this mount. The ducky is horrible. Like, I absolutely hate this thing. There's so many cool mounts there. We talked about a couple of them. But the rubber duck there, oh, it is atrocious. He says as Whitemane jumps off a broom. Yeah. Tychus, okay. Probius is, by the way, not even the top siege damage dealer. That's Kerrigan. Probius with 18,000 damage though. It's not too bad. 18k of damage is actually pretty good. A little bit more than Diablo. And Probius is still working the camps the entire time. With level 16 talents, we are getting also the Quantum Entanglement. Sizzling attacks for Tychus. Not going for the grenade here. Okay. I expected grenade synergy to come out. It wasn't really an auto attack style from Tychus that he executed here. Still going for sizzling attacks. I don't really agree with the choice. I guess the theory is, hey, we have Diablo on the other side. We're terrified of that hit point pool. We need something that is able to do a little bit of max health, but I don't really think that was the talent here. Whoa! Sylvanas just explodes. They're giving Kerrigan too many targets. Kerrigan just jumped in and murdered her. And now executes the combo here. Probius at the top against Leoric, but this 4 versus 4? Ruthless. The no-scope ninja also nearly dying. Nearly getting eliminated. And they're just crushing this bottom fort. Guys, the Red Cats, they have so much momentum now all of a sudden. This is looking amazing for them. This comp is actually working out for them. A little bit on the squishy side, but that doesn't matter when you start every single fight with a kill. Then it just is pretty meaningless. So that is awesome for them. I mean, they're doing the best that they can to force game number 3. And the longer this all lasts, the more realistic it is that they actually have a chance of making that work. Currently, what we're getting is a big lead on the objective. It's a 5 versus 5 now. But if the blue team wants to have any say of who takes the next Punisher, then they gotta move in quickly because there's already 20 stacks on the side of the Red Cats. So they're pushing in through the top. I mean, just forcing their way in there. Leo also at the front. Alright, Diablo a bit low, but he makes his way back out. Need to force that fight. Here comes the Riptide, a bit of damage. Wall stun against Kerrigan, nice. Chrysalis is out, and now it's Diablo who's in trouble. Diablo's in trouble, still fine though. Damage is starting to spike also for Tychus. He's at 35,000 and is now popping Odin. They are going to get that Punisher. The question is, how many heroes are they going to lose in the process? They already lost Kerrigan. Leo is low, so is Diablo. They both need to be careful. They need healing. They're cosplaying Genji right now. Full control? I actually think the blue team is going to grab this one. Blue team is about to win the objective. And they take it! They actually took it. If they can now get an additional kill, that would be the dream. But Diablo is really asking for it. And there's Tychus dying. Tychus dies. And Nubarak is moving out. Probius, yeah, low, and so is Whitemane. This is actually crazy that they, first of all, were able to win the fight, but now they're pushing with Sylvanas. Finally, they have that push power that we talked about earlier. And it's just nasty. Diablo surviving like 3 times when he had absolutely zero business getting out of the battle. And now they're pushing for the wall. And Tychus is still dead. That staggered death against Tychus is amazing because he's essentially the only real ranged damage dealer for them. Yes, Probius, granted, but when it comes to a threat against Diablo, for example, that is the biggest one. The wall's gone. Punisher jumped in for a little bit of action as well. Riptire here. Should have probably held that longer and waited for a minion wave. Oh well, can wait a long time for that. But how much damage can they do here? I really thought they would be a bit more aggressive trying to damage the keep, but they already sent Leo back. Because, yeah, this is a problem. Those catapults are ripping that mid lane keep apart. So, again we're even. 8 kills to 7. 19.5 on both sides, roughly. 5 stacks for Master Assassin for Tychus. Again, a talent you take because of the passive. Not because you expect to complete it. If you do, amazing, but that's not the reason why you go for it. Yeah, and now of course, the next battle is going to be pretty tense. Level 20 talents are going to be ready for both teams. And this should get wild. The camp is going to be taken before they can invade it. But if they can get an entomb through somewhere, then yeah. Not against Nubarak. He's the one hero that doesn't really care about an entomb on that side of the team. But still, 20 is going to be available for them in a moment as well. Leo upgraded to Buried Alive, so that's big. Then the entomb against the Nubarak would also have worked, to be fair. But we get for Probius, the Gatekeeper, and the Bob and Weave for Tychus. Okay, so no big red button for Tychus in game number 2. This is for all the marbles for the team in on the right side of the map. Just a quick reminder. If they lose here, then they are out of the tournament. So this is their last chance to at least force the 3rd map. And keep their spirits alive there. Their hopes and dreams. So we'll see. It's a little bit of a trap at the top. I'm also attempting to bait this slightly with Diablo. Oh, sorry, with Leoric. And there's still a camp that they can take. It comes down to a final team fight. Very likely the next objective is going to decide it. The blue team has an advantage on the top lane though. They still have a fort and they have a fountain there. Okay, they're not moving in. I was actually just wondering if the team in red would dare move in there. And if the blue team would be willing to fight this. Oh, actually, talking about fighting. They're going for the... Oh, no. Yep. Can't get caught like this. Not with the timing. That might be a nail in the coffin right there. Junkrat is attempting to jump out. Escape. Oh, if he gets out, that would be nice. And, well, Junkrat gets killed. Junkrat gets killed. If they don't get a counter kill right now, they're going to lose the objective. And it doesn't look like they can. So, yeah. Once that they were able to get out of the fight, they should have just retreated. But now the keep in the middle is gone. Very good decision from the Red Cats to just say, guys, let's go for the objective here. And with the objective, I mean the keep. That's the closest objective that you had. And then they can go towards the top and go for the shrine. Leo is now dead as well, and yeah, things are just falling apart. Another stun combo. Kerrigan is just carrying this heavily, and it is working out beautifully for the Red Cats. That catch at the top should not have happened. It did, and once that it did, they were in trouble. So, right? Ooh, this is good though. That is a keep that it falls now. Huh. That actually changes things a little bit. So now the keep is lost. 20 seconds for Leo, 6 for Junkrat. The objective at the top is active. The red team has not even moved in for it, so they don't even have a lead. Right now, they are not out of this yet. This looked dangerous. I really thought that after the keep was taken, they would move to the objective, take it, and then maybe even get a second keep out of it. A fort for sure. But this isn't even over. I mean, far from it. Each team has now lost the keep. They can't... Why are they not moving top? Like, what am I missing here? Their ults are up. They have a 5-man. It's 5 versus 5, and they just give up the objective? Are they trying to backdoor? Really? With that comp? Okay, let's see if they can. I mean, the Hearth back, you can argue, is not too late. Leo is also just sitting there. They're trying to go for the core, and let's see if that works out for them. Core is already losing a couple of hit points, as it should in a situation like this. But can they actually end this? Diablo is down, and they just brute force their way in. 60%, 50%, Tychus gets attacked, and yep, they just end it. They just go in, and they just end it. Game over. We go to game number 3. They didn't hide anything, they just went for it, brute forced their way to victory, and that's a W. Towers of Doom, our third map, the final map in this losers match. So, the KD Seagents against the Red Cats. And the Red Cats at the end, you know, they just thought, we're just gonna end the game now. And we don't care how obvious it is that we're going for the core. We're just going to make it work. We're going to brute force our way through this, and you have nothing. And it worked. They just did it. They just went for the core, completely crushed it, killed Diablo in the process, I believe. And then core was down, they won the game. And it was just fantastic. So yeah, the call was made, they followed it, it worked out, and now we find ourselves in the third game of the series. So, Red Cats against KD Seagents. Muradin is the first one that gets banned. 20 heroes are, of course, out. So, yeah, there's that. Well, guys, as we're getting ready for the third game, once again, a reminder, if you want to support tournaments like this and also the stream, the continued Heroes coverage and all the events that we're setting up, you can do that at patreon.com/Khaldor. Best way to support all of this. So, once again, big shout out to all of the patrons that we already have. Really appreciate the support. Without you, neither the content on the YouTube channel nor on Twitch or the events that we're hosting would be possible. So big thumbs up and big thank you. And anybody that would like to help support those things and keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive, check out the link. You can also find it in the description, linked right there. So thanks already. Really appreciate the support from the community here. Yeah, and with the community, of course, we now have our community tournaments. And so far I had with a lot of the games tons of fun. And there are just sometimes things that you don't expect. When you're looking at some of the top level play, oftentimes it is, I don't want to say predictable, but there's certain patterns that it of course follows. There's always new shifts that come through. Someone that comes in with a new idea and then the meta shifts a little bit. But generally speaking, there are just certain things that follow patterns. And right now, when you're looking at an amateur level, they are getting broken consistently. It's just not the same level of play. There's a bigger margin of error and there's wider gaps that you can exploit. And it makes it very fun at times. And also unpredictable. So we get Stitches and Malfurion now for Towers of Doom, whereas over on the red team side, Li Ming was taken for the burst damage and as the earliest hero. It might actually challenge some of the teams a bit with 20 heroes banned what they're going to go for now. Because you have 20 heroes eliminated and you have 6 banned in the draft process itself. If you target specific roles, that might put someone into a bit of an awkward spot. So, can you make it so that your opponent can't play here at all? Not really. But you can definitely... It's easier to push somebody here out of their comfort zone than to do it in a team where you have semi-professional players that back in the day played HGC, for example. It's just not the same thing. The hero pools and the talent there is not as deep. So here you have more of a shot of actually strategically banning certain roles out, for example. Illidan gets banned. We have Deathwing and ETC. The Cats currently... I mean, the ETC play, we've seen quite a few stage dives. But you already have Deathwing here, so I guess we're going to get a mosh pit from him. Can work against Stitches as well, of course. It's actually sad that they banned Medivh. It would have been funny for Medivh to go through and them picking Medivh. You can still get your hook into a route from Malfurion, but I would have loved them to just go for a kidnap combo again. Malthael gets banned, so there's no last rites onto the target. Falstad has also been banned. It's actually kind of funny to me that both Falstad and Medivh got banned by the team that would have probably benefited the most from it. It's maybe not quite fair, because if you have Medivh against Stitches, then you of course can set up portals and shields to save the target too, so that works as well. But a Falstad isolation is always nice. Ooh. Vala and Zagara now. Okay. So we get both of them. Alright. I mean, Li Ming can blow Zagara up pretty quickly here. But first of all, you have to get to her, of course. Now, the final 2 picks for the red team, as they are finishing out their last draft. Loser of this map is out. The winner goes to the next and final match of the group. Oh! Ragnaros! Nice! We get baby Ragnaros. ETC, Ragnaros, and Deathwing. Plus Anna. Okay! Time Bullet, he's the last one to choose, and he needs to play on the side lane now. I did not think we would get a Ragnaros game. Awesome. I like it. Give me more. The Vikings! Nice! Ask and you shall receive. Guys, we get Vikings, we get Ragnaros. It's gonna be great. Towers of Doom, the final map in the best of 3 series here at Group B of the Underdog Cup. The final map, we're going down to the last and final map of the series. Naptabis for the blue team, for the KD Seagens, is playing Zagara. Joey on Malfurion. Time Bullet on the Vikings. This should already be fun, so we have a Vikings game as the final map of the series, which is awesome. Then we get No Scope Ninja on Stitches and Carol Barrel on Vala. Also, on level 1, Hungry for More for Stitches. The movement speed is already in. Vala has decided that she is going to start this one up with a puncturing arrow. And over on the right side, we get the Cats with Tristas on Li Ming. We have Philosmart on ETC. Shizen on Ragnaros with the IKEA build going full meatball on us. With Chacho on Deathwing, and NC Ferrum is playing Anna with a grenade build. Let the games begin. Arrow build can obviously be pretty powerful as well, specifically when you're playing around those shrines, those altars, where you don't actually have anything that can soak up the shots outside of just like heroes. So this is actually going to be a bit wild. Vikings at the top have to deal with Ragnaros for now. Meatball build from him will be interesting too. The IKEA build, the good old IKEA meatballs. Those are like the best. When I was in school, when I was in high school, we had an IKEA that was like 3 kilometers away because the school was a little bit outside, just like at the, not at the center of like the little town, the little village. So the industrial area was just a couple of kilometers away, and we could drive there during breaks with a car, and then you could get those IKEA cookies, the IKEA hot dogs and all of that stuff. So yeah, IKEA, amazing. So meatball build, I immediately get hungry when I just see those talents being locked in. They're also hungry down here, hungry for a couple of kills as it seems, because they are getting aggressive. Yep, they definitely want to party it up a bit. Deathwing is already sitting there, and pretty low HP. Needs to be a bit careful that he doesn't become the next target. I mean, the good news for him is that they can't hook him. But if that was the case, then he would probably be out, because it's a pretty big hitbox. It's actually one of the coolest things still. I mentioned this a couple of times, but what I really liked about some of the ideas that NA came up with back in the day is that they used the Rocket Ride on Junkrat to attack Deathwing, because his hit point box is so big, or his hitbox is so big, that he couldn't dodge it. And he's also so slow in the process, so it's pretty sweet. Level 4 talents are kicking in. That gives us also catching fire. The arrow build for now at least continues. I don't think we need Monster Hunter here, unless they are thinking about sneaking the boss in a couple of times. But I have my eye a bit on Zagara. I mean, it's currently a 4-man that they're running. You would expect Zagara on the side lane, but she's now just part of the 4-man consistently, simply because they are running. I mean, they're running currently Vikings with this composition, who are not only trying to control the experience on the side lanes, but will also be very useful once that the altar spawn. And that could have been first blood. Good damage against ETC, but just simply not enough. Vala is working the stacks in for her build, of course. So right now we're sitting at 9 stacks for her. If she does well, she can get some crazy numbers towards the end of the game. This is always one of those maps where you have a lot of opportunities when those altars are being fought over. So this is something that we could definitely get fairly soon. We have already 2 altars channeled, and at the top it seems like Eric is going to try and interrupt a couple of these picks. Not going to be able to interrupt Chizen this time though. But since so many heroes are missing from the bot lanes, their defense is rather weak. They need more heroes here to help them out and match the numbers, and as long as they don't do that, it just means automatically that you have opportunities for the KDC gens to just take a couple of towers down. Kill a tower here, kill one there. And yeah, Vala is having an absolute field day with arrows. It's a tumble in, 1 arrow, 2 arrows, sitting at 12 already. This is going to be a nice game for her. If this continues, this is going to be fun. Can be a bit more aggressive with this too. We have Li Ming, by the way, with the traditional build going Calamity here. Vikings still holding on to the lanes, even though Eric just got taken out. Yeah. Not a single real kill, though. Vikings is the only thing that has been killed. Nothing else. But what I would worry about a bit... Okay, there we go. Frost Shot is in. So a little bit more damage there to the slowed heroes now. And with Pulverize kicking in later on, that's obviously another nice one. Another hook, and another arrow connects. That's 15 stacks. Yeah, Vala will end up with pretty big stacks here. 100%. Especially, of course, if she can also do the same thing against Deathwing. But this is just... I mean, this is after the first objective. So we're going to get huge numbers on this. What's the damage output, actually? Vala is currently sitting at 13,000 top damage in the game. And again, not even fully stacked or anything. They're losing their camp. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, with the arrows, it's always that just the initial one that gets hit. So you get 2 out of it. If you go for Acrobat later, slightly different story. But still, I mean, it adds up. You get another couple hundred damage on a hero, that makes a difference. So, by now, 18 stacks already. Just easily move back in here. Vikings are still interrupting as best as they can. They're all over the place. And they're also still holding experience up at the top. But it seems like this time, Ana did not get this one through. Nope. Vikings are also not interrupting this, but it's Stitches that falls. It's a 5 versus 4 after all. So Stitches gone, and that leaves only 3 heroes down here. And now they're not only going to lose the altar, but they're also going to lose a bit more of the momentum that we're attempting to build up here. Yeah, Ana should be able to grab this one with ease. Level 10 abilities, on the other hand, they have now connected for the KDC gens. So, no, I mean, it's not a big lead or anything. Both teams now have heroics. It's a little bigger than it actually was. Sulfuras, not Lava Wave. for Ragnaros, thank God. They just need someone to, you know, lead things up for them. If they can get that, then, yeah, then great. But first they gotta get there. Now, Vala is still trying to stack, and even though she misses the occasional arrow, we are having her on 24 stacks now. 24 stacks, absolutely on point. Zagara, she went for more. Malfurion hasn't actually made a choice yet. Mosh Pit is also out. And now Zagara, she's dead. That's the problem when you're squishy and your opponent actually gets to you. You just have no chance. Oh, but Li Ming after the Gorge also couldn't stand any chance whatsoever getting out of that little problem. On the other side of the wall and gets murdered. So, yeah, she is gone. And up at the top, we're now having Ragnaros going for the next camp. It has started to calm down a little bit. On the one hand, Vala is completely happy to just sit there, continue stacking. Doesn't really have to do anything crazy. The Vikings are trying to hold the experience. Any altar phase later on with triple altars is going to be good for them. And as long as they are able to keep stacking on Stitches and his level 1, which is honestly a little bit disappointing. He only has 10 so far. A bit more would be great. But still, it increases his hit points regardless. They are happy to just play this out a bit later. Nothing really changes for them in that regard. And for what's actually important for the Red Cats is a lot of setup is needed in order to get Sulfuras, for example, properly connected, unless somebody makes a mistake and just like sits there and eats it. Which is not going to happen anytime soon. It's a double altar now. I would love for the Vikings to be a bit more involved, honestly. They should at least try and interrupt in the middle. Vala is currently channeling. So they're trying to swap their attention a little bit between the two altars. But ETC gets killed. So ETC is down. And that means that the red team will likely have to retreat here. Vikings are now aiming for the shrine, for the altar in the middle, which they should. And then down here, Li Ming is consistently attempting to interrupt, which she is able to do. It's actually Vala that is now trying to lock that one in. As Olaf fights it out with Ragnaros, there's a bit of body block going on. And Vala grabs it. Vala gets the first channel. They still have another altar to go through at the bot lane. Nano boost on Li Ming. I don't think they can easily hold this. Nice! The root on the ground against Anna. Good damage, just not good enough. They didn't have what they needed in order to take her down. Gorge wasn't up, just a few seconds were missing, but still that's more than enough for Anna to get out there. But that would actually be pretty ridiculous if they could have gotten the Gorge out and then get that kill. They're dancing, and not for long, because the interrupt is immediately there. But the channel has happened, so at least they get one of the two altars and a few shots fired, meaning that both of the teams are now 28 points on their core. Sulfuras against Stitches as he's trying to escape with Li Ming, but she dies anyways. Li Ming is dead, she's down. Stitches should why is Stitches moving there? He wants to get that hook, but dude, the only thing that you would hook in for yourself is death. Need to wait for that heal to come through. There's nothing else that he can do on the map just now. Vala has now 34 stacks. So that is basically 200 additional damage on a single arrow, initial damage. And if you multiply that by 2, that's 400 extra damage that you get through that. If you go for just a quick hit, tumble, and then another hit. That matters. That's a lot. That can be the difference between you dying or not dying. So, as this continues, better and better for her. I was actually thinking they might interrupt they might try and go take the camp, the opponent's camp as well, but no. Still at 1 level lead for the blue team. Ahead by 1 level, therefore, nice little advantage that they can run with. And still attempting to push the bottom of the map through. Vikings are keeping them ahead, and with level 16 we're gonna get also Largen in charge. So that means, oh, that's a Gorge, and that's a dead ETC. ETC! Yep, he's gone. Kind of feel sorry for him a little bit. No chance there. Yeah, he thought he could get away, and it's just not happening. Yeah, another hook attempt, but Deathwing is a little bit too much. That one, you can't hook that one in. That's just not happening, sorry. You can try as much as you want, but no. Top side though, that is where Ragnaros just converted the altar over. That's big. Altar conversion at the top against the Vikings, and the blue team is now forced to really push for that bot lane, because if they don't, then they are falling farther and farther behind here. Ragnaros gets killed by the Vikings. What? Vikings with a Ragnaros kill at the top. I guess he overextended a bit trying to go for that bell tower conversion. I would still call worth it, because the Vikings are also now all getting killed. And well, they're all gone. Every single Viking is down. So nothing they can do here. Gets large and in charge now, but it's still ridiculous to me that the Vikings were able to take Ragnaros out. And that was without large and in charge, so without the stun here. So with it would have been a bit of a better play there. Anyways, 16 is in. It gives us Pulverize, Large and in charge, and obviously Manticore for Vala. 41 stacks now, another Gorge, and that is a kill on ETC. Yeah, I've seen that before. ETC is gone again. The damage numbers, Zagara is sitting at 29,000. 39,000 for Vala, and we got 43,000 for Ragnaros. I mean, he's also farming a lot of damage against the Vikings, I'd say. But now they still need that bell tower, because top lane, taking that back is going to take a bit longer. That's only the Vikings that are working on it. So they got to do something down here at the bottom of the map. And they grab it. So it's 4-2-4 bell towers. Slightly advantageous situation for the KDC gens, simply because they control the bot lane, which is more important than the top lane, strategically. And they also have 1.5 lead in experience. And now that we have the triple altar phase, this is where the Vikings need to get some work done. This is a concern though. Another bell tower that is this low, that's problematic. Yeah, so they're getting a few towers already exchanged. Nice, the hook and the kill. ETC is not having a good game. ETC has always been a bit on the squishy side, and the way that this plays out for him, it's not looking great. He's just dying way too often and too quickly. He gets just crushed. No chance for him to even survive through any of this. Now they go for Li Ming instead. Li Ming tries to get away onto the other side. Gets a nice Calamity out. If Calamity or Sephora's connect a little bit better here, who knows? They might just be able to get a kill instead of being the ones on the menu. But they moved out. But there was some potential there. There was absolutely some potential there. Now Li Ming is gone. So they were able to get the kill, but Deathwing is paying with his life for it. Ah, the hook. I think they could have gotten Ragnaros. The arrow straight to the face. I mean, just to put this into context a little bit, Vala is currently at 50 stacks. That means that with... Wait, what did I actually... Okay, wait. Yeah, that's 600 extra damage. Math is hard sometimes. But yeah, that's 600 extra damage that she currently does with that. With those stacks. So, good for her. Shots fired, and they're getting them really low. They're also about to retake the top now, I think. I mean, the Vikings should really be able to deal with this now. They got the wave clear too. I don't know why Zagara is all alone at that bottom position, but that Sulfuras was glorious. Just bug squashing right there. Like, totally crushing her. No chance for Zagara. I mean, she's there one moment, and the next second she's just paced on the shoe of Ragnaros. No chance of survival, and he just went full on overkill. I was like, I really don't care if we could kill you with auto attacks or normal abilities. I'm going to completely hammer you into the ground so that you stay down. You better stay dead, because if not, I'm going to come for you again in just a couple of minutes. So yeah, massive, massive move. And that one hurt. That one really, really hurt. So, well, by now, we're having the double altar phase, the next one coming up. The red team is extremely dangerous of getting into a situation where they will drop into the single digits. Yeah, and now, big fight, ETC. They try to go for Stitches this time, and they take him out. Stitches is gone. Top bell tower, top left, has been retaken. 4 versus 4 situation, as obviously the red team has also reclaimed their bottom lane bell tower. But boy, oh boy, the game is getting quite a bit hectic. With the altars now up, everybody is trying to at least lock one in, specifically, of course, when we're talking about the red team. but they would love to at least get the one on the top left too, but they can't. So it's an even exchange, which leads to a single-digit core point, hit point situation for the Red Cats. And level 20 is ready for the blue team. They got level 20 already. And another bell tower is taken. Again, endgame momentum is everything. So if you can keep the momentum up here and then get your own level 20, you all of a sudden have a pretty nice situation going for yourself. And this is what they're banking on. They are hoping that they can now put the blue team into a defensive position and then win this game, win the series, and move on to the next one. Talrasha's Element is in as a level 20 talent, submerged for Ragnaros. And we got Arrival of a God, superhero landing and everything. Oh, easy, careful. Yeah, he's still alive. But they get the bell tower. Again, 6 bell towers to 2. That's the momentum that we talked about. That is that late game pressure, that late game situation that can win you the game, even if you've been the one on the chopping block throughout the entire match. So the Red Cats, they have a huge chance here. They lost the first map, won the second, and have now an opportunity to advance to the next match and kick the KDC Gens out of the tournament. Here's the opportunity. Vikings are retaking bell towers now. So it's a 5 versus 3. 9 points on the core against 20. They're not protecting those enough. And that results very likely in this one being taken too. Currently it's getting closer and closer to being reconverted over to the blue team. And the Vikings are still able to push at the top. Ragnaros, it's the first time that I actually see him use a straight here. Goes for the Molten Core. One channel at the bottom is happening. There's going to be 5 shots. Nobody's even messing with Liming there. But the battle is going to be about what happens in the mid lane. 5 shots are fired. 15 points against 9. Who takes the middle? Who's able to claim this one? And do they beforehand take that bell tower back? Vala has 64 stacks now. Her auto attack hits hurt. And she went for Acrobat. She has the vault. She can vault around and just spike her damage up even further. But the Vikings are getting eliminated by Liming, who comes in with some calamities. And the resets, they're hurting, of course. Yeah, resets are definitely hurting. Oh, but so does ETC. How did he survive that? He was dead. Well, now he is dead. There's no way he gets out there. Liming is dead too. And they're moving in for Deathwing. It's going to be a 5-man team wipe. They're going to get everybody here. Vala's trying to make her way over. One shot and another has to move away from the tower. Ragnaros somehow survives. But 4 heroes have just fallen. The hook! But Submerge is ready. Bell towers are getting taken. Sagara took the one at the bottom left. Bottom right. We're going to get this one. I don't even know why they do that. Actually, no, they need it. Sorry, my bad. They need it. They need it for the altar and then the boss. I thought they would be fine without, but nope, they need both. They need the second one here as well. So they need to go for the boss now and end the game here. 70 stacks for Vala. Big damage on those arrows. It seems like the KDC gens have actually taken it. The Red Cats had a moment where they had 6-2 bell towers. 6-2. They had full control with the exception of a single bell tower. But now it's the big play for boss and game. Ragnaros is the only survivor. There is nothing he can do. He can just watch and die in the process, but that's it. And that is a victory right there. The hook, the kill, and that is game. GG, well played. The KDC gens advance to the next match, and the Red Cats are eliminated.